Hey, Galilee friends and family, it's Joan. Welcome to Friday Prayer Focus. I wanted to tell you about a play that I went to very recently. It's called The Thorn. It's a passion play, of course. It's a story of God's love for the world and the spiritual battle for humanity, just like most passion plays are. And this one, the story starts with creation and it goes through the early church forming, and then, of course, it covers the resurrection. I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. I found it fascinating. It was written actually 25 years ago by a married couple. Their last name was Bolin, Bolin. They wrote it for a group of young people at their church, and they realized these people knew a little bit about the story of Jesus' suffering, but not a lot, and they didn't realize their worth to him. So the first Thorn presentation, they just sort of put together with, the people that they had there at the church, and they described it as not amazing. They said the props weren't good, the makeup was embarrassing, the costumes were thrown together, and the lighting was non-existent. But that night, scores of young people decided to follow Jesus. Isn't that amazing when Jesus can use whatever we give? We give what we have, and he finds a way to use it to his glory. So they started performing at their church every year, and then neighboring churches started asking if they would come and perform it at their church too. And then eventually, God was nudging them to take it on the road, and they're like, whoa, we don't know anything about producing a play or taking anything on the road. But God asked us to trust him and open our hands, and he promised to make something beautiful happen. So they did it. They stepped out of their comfort zone and formed a production company. And it's been tweaked over the years. Now it's presented as an immersive show. It's got music, drama, it's got some aerial arts, some martial arts, modern dance, special effects. Some people describe it as Cirque meets the Passion. And I would say that's pretty accurate. Well, not only have tens of thousands of people chosen to become followers of Jesus, but a really cool byproduct of this was how the Thorn ministered to the actors and the artists as well. So they could go back to their world and be the salt and the light for the kingdom there. The Boland said all of this was more than they could ever have imagined. God loves it when we tell his story, and that's the real reason for any success of the Thorn. So it starts off, it's got a first half and a second half. And the first half is kind of fun. The main character is John the Apostle, and he's telling the story. And it's just a beautiful depiction of creation. But the second half, things get serious. Things get real serious. The scourging was pretty rough for me. They did all 39 lashes. But then they dragged this guy's body over, and the cross is laying down. They nail him to the cross, and then they stand the cross up, and he was right out at the foot of the stage, this big cross, and we're all looking up. And when they, the cross sort of clunks down into place, and this body just sort of lurched forward and hung there, and it was powerful. It was intense, with the real body. It wasn't a movie, and I don't have anything against any of the movies out there. They're very good, but this was especially moving for me to see this real person hanging on that cross. And all you could hear was sniffles, including mine. So today I want to pray that all of our Galilee friends and families would open themselves up to experiencing the cross this Lenten season, especially today on Good Friday. I pray that we will come to know Jesus more deeply, his love for each of us and for all of humanity. And that in knowing that, we can just catch a glimpse of how deeply we matter to him. God loves it when we tell his story, just like the Bolins said. I pray that we can open our hands and hearts just like they did, trusting him to create something beautiful through our surrender. And in the wait of this day, I pray we don't lose hope because Sundays are coming. So we do have services today at noon and 7. And on Easter Sunday, we have 6:30 a.m., 8 o'clock, and a 10:45. And there's food all mixed in there. So come hungry and feel loved because you are. And I hope you have the happiest of Easters. And I'll see you next time I see you.